a feeling you'd come back and save me from all those lonely nights and heartbreaks. And I feel misplaced without you. Why don't we go?
And here comes another one. We're talking a little bit about expectations of the women when they come to this process. We've talked a lot about the 90-90-10, right? The 90% of women who are never going to meet anybody in international dating because 90% of the guys who are writing letters to them are never going to get on the plane to go and meet them. And we've talked about the 10% of guys who do go and how half of those guys are probably ready for a relationship and have the social skills and the ability to make something impactful happen. And half of those guys might need a little bit of support in order to be successful going forward. I think it's healthy now to talk about what the women expect when they come to this process. Another topic that we've covered is who are these women, and typically why do they come to an international marriage agency? Well, so the women are here with their posted profiles, and you're here as a paying customer reaching out to these women. You've done some correspondence, or maybe you've just decided to get on a plane and go join us for a romance tour. When you get to wherever you're going and you meet these women, what are their expectations in this process? You know, guys, one of the things that I've talked about a lot is how the women in places like Ukraine or in Latin America are incredibly gracious to us guys who get on the plane and go halfway around the world to meet somebody without necessarily being able to speak their language. So again, we take completely for granted the fact that we're getting on a plane and going to someone's country to meet them, court them, fall in love, and find a life partner in this process without necessarily spending a whole lot of time learning the language. Now, we know how we feel about people who come to our country, and there are all kinds of polarizing issues around that. But the reality is the women are very, very forgiving of that. They absolutely are okay with us not knowing their language. We have ways to communicate, resources and such. But, they do have expectations in this process. It's not like they come to us completely wide open for whatever it is that we bring ourselves to Ukraine. They have clear expectations in this process. And I don't know that those are ever communicated to you guys. So let's talk a little bit about that so that you will know how to interact with these women successfully. So here's something else actually that women in this process want. They want to experience a courtship and a love relationship at a very realistic pace. And this is something that trips a lot of guys up, because a lot of the work that we do here when we reach out and talk to the guys and when we're coaching the guys who are going on our romance tours, certainly a lot of the stuff that I put in my book and that we dedicate our blogs and our webcasts and our conferences to is to show you guys that these are very real women who are not poor, dumb, and desperate like our media wants us to believe that they are. They're not living in mud huts. They're not waiting for some Neanderthal to come over and throw them on his back across the Bering Straits to America. Contrary to what the media would have us believe, that is nothing like the women that you're going to meet in this process, who are typically educated, quite intelligent, very self-respecting, very capable, resourceful women, right? But they want to fall in love, but that has to happen at a natural process. Too many times, guys, we write letters to women that we believe are, really lonely and really desperate. The women aren't desperate, alone, but not desperate, right? So we're writing the letters and we're falling in love through our own correspondence, whether we realize it or not. Guys make the mistake of doing that all the time. We fall in love through letters before we've even met somebody. And then we get on the plane, we go and meet somebody, and we have a great beginning, a couple of first great dates, but we've already been in love 4 months ago from all of our correspondence, so we guys are ready to fall in love as soon as we meet. I mean, it's just a matter of getting the technicality of the meeting out of the way, and then we're in love, right? And guys believe many times that they are in love after a first meeting, after a little bit of correspondence, when in fact, of course, love takes time to develop. It makes sense, right? You need a courtship, you need time to get to know each other, you need your common ground to build, you need your chemistry to build, your attraction to each other, you need to share a lot of stuff, you need to open up, get beyond barriers. The normal falling in love process is definitely part of the deal when you get on the plane and go and meet these ladies. And sometimes I have guys that come back from tours that believe that the women were disingenuous, or the women were not sincere, or the women, weren't as ready for love as they were, when in fact the women were perfectly ready, but they were expecting a normal pace, and we guys kind of accelerated the pace a little bit because we were attaching a little too much emotion to the correspondence that we were sending out. Now again, that's a very natural thing for us lonely guys to do. Suddenly we're writing to somebody and they're writing back, and we're so caught up into that sometimes we attach a little bit more significance to it than we really should be. You've got to get on the plane, you've got to go, you've got to meet, you've got to go out on some dates, you've got to court each other, and then you'll begin to know if you're really falling in love with each other, and only then. So a natural progression is what women in this process do expect. Too many guys come back having met somebody really sincere, but just believing that things didn't go as quickly as they should have gone, so the women were not sincere and they kind of goof themselves up. So we try and coach guys through that process.
Looking for your ideal bride? Check out our website at
saint-petersburg-women.com.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Then click on the notice bell to get notified every time we add something new.